So the Cowboys are all buttoned up. They've got all their players, Nick, and so I imagine you see them as a playoff team and a lucky break from the Super Bowl, right?
I do not. Listen, I think the Cowboys were drawing dead for the postseason if they didn't get Zeke in. They are now alive for the postseason, in my eyes, along with 9 other really quality NFC teams. And so when you're in a conference with 10 viable playoff teams in no particular order, Philly, Dallas, Chicago, Green Bay, Minnesota, New Orleans, Carolina, Atlanta, Seattle, and the Rams, and that's leaving out your adorable, beloved San Francisco 49ers, you're going to have to make some tough cuts. I tend to err on the side of coach quarterback. Don't love Dallas's coach. Don't trust their quarterback. And even if they get into the tournament, unless something catastrophic happens with Carson Wentz, it will be as a wild card team. And there is no chance, none, in 2019, I guess then it'd be 2020, a Dak Prescott-led team is going to win 3 consecutive road playoff games. So unless something happens to Wentz, I don't think they can win the division. I don't think they're going to be a wild card team. I think it's going to be 9-7 and a good, not a great, not a championship level team.
Now, you don't love Jared Goff, if I recall, as much as I do, but I think something happened. I think something happened with Jared Goff. First impressions are incredibly powerful. And it just so happened Jared Goff took over the Rams, and they were on Hard Knocks, and it was awful, and he didn't know east from west, and the offense with Jeff Fisher was impossible to watch. And then the last 2 years, he's been utterly brilliant, but a lot of people cannot get past that first year. Now, Patrick Mahomes, he got to sit in the bench with Andy Reid, so we don't get the misgivings of the young quarterback. I think Goff, who signed a deal yesterday, is the future for 10 years. I think he and Mahomes will meet and I say this seriously, over the next 12 years in multiple Super Bowls. I think they'll be the 2 legends. So, but you don't like Goff as much, right?
Yeah, listen, I think Jared Goff has shown the ability to be good. I have not seen him be great. I understand the numbers over the last 2 seasons since Sean McVay took over. The numbers appear to be pretty undeniable. 12 wins a season, 30 touchdowns a season, 101 rating a season. I get all of that. I also think it's been under the ideal circumstances, not just because of the head coach, but because of the talent around him. And I would be concerned with that player. How good is he going to be once we pay him, and therefore we have to pare away the talent around him? Now, I shouldn't be surprised he got this deal. Number 1 overall picks who make a couple Pro Bowls at that position and then lead their team to the Super Bowl, those guys always get paid. I was excited about the idea that maybe, just maybe, the Rams were going to be an incubator for an experiment that I wish one team one day would try, which is we're just going to keep rolling over the quarterback on a rookie contract. We are always going to have a stacked roster because we're going to draft the quarterback. We trust our coach. We're going to keep him for 5 years, franchise tag him, let someone else take him for those 2 first-round picks, and start this sucker again. They obviously are not going to go that way with it. We'll see how it works out with them. One last point on Goff. You mentioned first impressions are very noteworthy. That is true. The next most noteworthy impression is the most recent impression, and Jared Goff, before Cooper Kupp went down through 10 weeks, was extraordinary. After Cooper Kupp went down, his passer rating dropped 30 points, and the Rams were very beatable. That speaks to my theory of, okay, Cooks, Woods, Kupp, plus Gurley, plus McVay, he's awesome. Remove any 1 or 2 of those ingredients. Can he still be great? That's my concern. And by the way, that's one of the reasons I have your Rams out of the playoffs this year.
So let's talk about that. I obviously think they're very good, and I for a lot of different reasons. Let's talk about the NFC. So give me your division winners, and then give me your 2 wild cards. So go for it. Give me your division winners and wild cards.
No problem. So I'll give you the division winners in order of how I think they'll finish. I think the Packers are going to bounce back with an MVP-level year from Aaron Rodgers, an improved defense given the money they spent on it, and a reinvigorated team with the new head coach. I think they're going to be 12-4 and have the best record in the NFC. 2 seed, the Philadelphia Eagles, who will be fighting with the Packers for that top seed all year long. 3 seed, I'm sure this is one where we disagree on. The Carolina Panthers last year, through 8 weeks, were 6-2. Football Outsiders said they were the 3rd best team in football. Then T.J. Watt wrecked Cam Newton's shoulder and their season went to hell. And the 4th seed, the Seattle Seahawks, who even in a down year went 10-6 and went to the playoffs. In the playoffs, but not winning their division, Saints and Bears.
Okay, so
my concern about the Saints is simply
Go ahead. No, this is good. I want to say this though. So you don't have the Rams, you don't have the Cowboys, you don't have the Niners, you don't have Atlanta. Now these are tough choices. What I see right here is you still buy Mitch Trubisky and the Bears. That's what I see.
Well, listen, they won 12 games last year. Even if they take a couple games step back, I think they're still a playoff team. I don't think Trubisky will be worse than last year. God willing, their kicking situation won't be worse. Their defense should be as good. A full offseason from Roquan Smith. Khalil Mack didn't go anywhere, and I really like their coach. And as far as the teams I don't buy, I'm not including San Francisco in this. Jimmy Garoppolo's played 10 games in his life. He's got hurt badly in 2 of them. Throw them out of it. Now, the Rams, I think the Super Bowl hangover is a real thing, and I also don't think they're going to have the absurd health they had each of the last 2 regular seasons. You mentioned the Cowboys. I think Cowboys will be good, not great. It's just hard, and you know this, Colin. Every year in the NFL, there is a minimum of 4 new playoff teams. It's usually 5. So you can't just go chalk. You got to find those new teams. In the NFC, the new teams to me are Panthers and Packers. I obviously like both their quarterbacks a lot. I'll start there and almost work backwards.
All right, let's go to the AFC, where I saw your picks, and I don't even know. Maybe you made these in the wee hours of the morning. You were tired, slightly loopy. Go ahead, because I think I agree with 2 of them. Fire away.
Okay. All right, Patriots, the 1 seed. I don't have them going to the Super Bowl. I think the Chiefs get their revenge in Gillette of the game they should have won last year at Arrowhead, but they'll be the 1 seed. Soft schedule. They'll be 6-1 at a minimum through 7 weeks. They'll be the 1 seed. The Chiefs, the best team in the NFL, they're the 2 seed. The Browns, the most talented starting 11 on both sides of the ball in the NFL. They win the AFC North. And then the Colts. I really like the Colts infrastructure. I like their coach. I like how they're built. And I think Jacoby will be fine. That goes against the Houston Texans, who have just, I think, a clueless head coach, don't have any real infrastructure, just have Deshaun, Nuke, and JJ. And then the wild card teams, the Ravens, love the Earl Thomas edition, love their coach. Lamar, it will add an element that you almost have to specifically game plan for the Ravens, different than any other team. And then there's the Bills. And I'll be honest, I had to talk myself into my own Bills pick. However, every year there's one playoff team that everyone thought was going to be bad. We say, oh, who's your sleeper? And everyone's like, oh, the Niners are a sleeper. And it's like, no, they're not a sleeper. Vegas has them at 9 wins. You got to pick at least one team that's projected to win 5 or 6 games. I am, to quote a semi-wise man, circling the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. And I think they're going to squeeze their way to 9 wins and make the playoffs. I don't really want to argue with you too much about the Bills, though, because I'm not certain how much I believe it.
By the way, it's kooky, but I think it's fun. I will say this. I don't think your Carolina pick's crazy, because I told my staff, I think I told Joy this yesterday, I feel great about every division except the NFC South, and I can look at Carolina's schedule, and it's 11-5, and I would not I picked Atlanta, but I would have no problem if Carolina went 11-5. We got a minute and a half left. You and I have disagreed a lot on Cam. Is it fair to say, though, this year, if they do not deliver, the new owner perhaps does not see Cam, he doesn't care about the rearview mirror stuff. In a minute, what do you project for Cam if it doesn't go well? Because they got a new owner, and he doesn't care about 4 years ago.
Yeah, if it doesn't go well, then I think the 2020 season Cam could potentially be playing for his job, but I do think there are quarterbacks who have accomplished far less, who we give a far greater margin of error than we do Cam Newton. People say he's injured all the time. The guy's missed 5 games in his entire career. People say, how good is he really? Well, he did win a league MVP and come a quarter away from winning a Super Bowl, at maybe a drive away from winning a Super Bowl in a 15-1 season. But yes, things are set up well for them. Despite how they looked against the Pats, I like their offensive line. Love McCaffrey. DJ Moore should be the best receiver they've had since Steve Smith. And the defensive additions, Gerald McCoy, Bruce Irvin, I think that they will get back to Carolina Panther defensive football. So I expect big things from them, a la what they were showing us the first 8 weeks of last year before TJ Watt wrecked Cam Newton on not a dirty play, but just an absolutely brutal hit in the pocket.
Nick Wright, co-host First Things First, buddy. Can't wait for the NFL season. Good seeing you.
Absolutely. I'm excited for you to get one of those Patrick Mahomes headbands with the hair, Colin. Get on the bandwagon, my friend. Don't be wrong like last year.
No, I think they're going to win their division. I wouldn't be shocked at all if they're in the Super Bowl. Nick Wright. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.